Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're someone who loves diving deep into the Bible and discovering how these ancient stories are still relevant to our lives today, you're in the right place. Today we are going to unpack one of the most powerful and transformative moments in the Bible, Moses and the burning bush. This story isn't just about an old shepherd talking to a bush on fire. No, it's much more than that. It's about calling, fear, faith, and how God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let us talk about what this encounter teaches us about stepping out in faith and trusting God's plan, even when we feel completely unqualified. Let's set the scene. Moses, once a prince of Egypt, now living as a shepherd in the wilderness. He spent decades out here, far from the palace and the drama of Egypt. His life's pretty simple. Wake up, feed the sheep, and survive. But little did Moses know, God had big plans for him. Big plans that would require him to step completely out of his comfort zone. So one day, as Moses was doing his usual shepherd thing, something caught his eye, a bush on fire. But here's the thing, it wasn't burning up. The flames were there, but the bush stayed completely intact. And that's when God spoke. Moses, Moses. Now imagine you're Moses. You're out in the desert, alone, and you see a bush burning, and then, boom, a voice calls out your name. You'd probably freak out a little, right? Moses answers back, "Here I am," probably with a mix of confusion and awe. And then, God tells him something pretty wild. "Do not come any closer. Take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." Now, right here, there's a lesson about reverence and the holiness of God. When you encounter God, whether it's through prayer, in your quiet moments, or even when you're out and about, you have to recognize the sanctity of that moment. God is present, and that presence demands respect. So Moses is standing there, probably in shock, and then God drops a bombshell. "I have seen the suffering of my people in Egypt. I have heard their cries, and I'm sending you to bring them out of slavery." Now, if you were Moses, what would you think? You'd probably be like, "Wait, hold up. Me? I'm just a shepherd out here. I left Egypt years ago. I'm not even close to what you need, God." And Moses does what most of us would do. He doubts. He questions. He asks, "Who am I to do this? I'm not qualified. I've got no skills. I'm not a public speaker. I'm just a guy who tends to sheep." Here's the first big lesson. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. God didn't choose Moses because he had the perfect resume. In fact, Moses was definitely not the perfect candidate. He had a past, he had doubts, and he was terrified. But God called him because he knew what Moses could do when he was with him. So Moses keeps going. He's still not convinced. "Okay, God, but what if they ask me, 'Who sent you?' What should I say?" And God says, "Tell them, 'I am who I am has sent me.'" This right here is one of the most powerful revelations in the Bible. God tells Moses his name, I am. No other name, no other title, just I am. God is the eternal, self-sufficient one. He is unchanging, unmovable, and ever-present. That's the God Moses was being asked to trust. Here's another lesson. God is always present and always enough. Whatever you face, wherever you go, He is the I am. The great and mighty God is with you, and that should give you confidence to face anything. But Moses isn't done with his doubts yet. He's still thinking, "I can't do this, God. I'm not eloquent. I can't speak well enough." Maybe you've felt the same way when God has called you to something bigger than yourself. You feel like you're not good enough, right? But God tells Moses, "Who made your mouth? Who made people able to speak or be mute? I will be with you, and I will help you speak." In other words, Moses, it's not about your ability. It's about my power through you. Here's another big lesson. God doesn't call us to succeed by our own strength, but to trust in His. Moses had no idea how this was going to work, but God promised to equip him every step of the way. And guess what? He does the same for us today. When God calls you, He provides the tools, the resources, and the strength you need, even when you don't feel ready. And even with all this assurance, Moses still tries to back out. He says, "Lord, please, just send someone else." At this point, I can imagine God just taking a deep breath, thinking, "Moses, I've been so patient with you, but I'm not giving up on you." And you know what? God doesn't give up on us either. He knows we're scared. He knows we have doubts. But he keeps calling us because he sees the potential we don't see in ourselves. God finally tells Moses, "I'll send your brother Aaron to help you. Now go. I'll be with both of you." And that was it. Moses stepped out, not because he was confident, but because God said, "I will be with you." And that made all the difference. So what about you? What is God calling you to? Maybe it's something big and you feel completely unqualified. Maybe it scares you. Maybe you're thinking, send someone else. But remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called, and he will never leave you. If this story of Moses spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bible stories that challenge and encourage us to step out in faith. And as always, take that first step, because God is with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.